Students, welcome to the online class once more. In our last class, we completed the explanation of the poem Sita by Taro Dutt. Today, we are going to discuss the questions and answers of the poem. Different types of questions are given in the book, so we are going to discuss them one by one. Let me read the first question. Answer the following questions in one or two words. Question number one. Who is the poem about? Let us first understand the meaning of the question. In the question, it is asked about whom the poet is. The first line of the poem indicates who the poem is all about. What do they gauge on with wide open eyes? In this line, they refer to three children who were sitting by the side of their mother in a dark room in the evening, listening to a story being told by their mother. So the answer will be the poem is about three children sitting by the side of her mother listening to a story being told by their mother. Let's move to the second question. How many children listen to the story? Answer. Three children listen to the story. Next question. Who dwells in peace in the forest? Answer. Valmiki, the poet anchorite, dwells in peace in the forest. Next question. What is the color of the swans which are seen gliding in the lake? The color of the swans which are seen gliding in the lake is white. Next question. Who is the narrator of the story? Answer. The narrator of the story is a mother who narrates the bedtime stories to her three children. Students, that was the last question of the first part. Now let us move to the second part. Answer the following questions in a few words. Question number one. What prevents the sunlight from entering the place? Answer. The dense forest in the place prevents the sunlight from entering. It has tall trees and gigantic flowers on creepers. Next question. Name the birds and animals mentioned in the poem. Answer. The poet Taro Dutt mentions certain names of animals and birds in the poem Sita. She says that birds like white swans, peacocks, and animals like deer used to live around that place. Next question. Where are the children sitting? Answer. The children are sitting in a darkened room listening to the story being told by their mother. Next question. Whose heads are bowed in sorrow? The heads of the three children are bowed in sorrow to see the tears falling from the eyes of their mother when she started telling about Sita. The last question of this part. What does the poet remember when she listens to the story? Answer. When she listens to the story, the poet remembers her childhood when she, along with her brother and sister, used to sit by the side of their mother in the evening to listen to the stories that she used to narrate. So, students, we have come to the end of the second part. Let us move on to the next part. Answer the following questions briefly in your own words. Question number 1. Why are the children weeping? Answer. The children in the poem Sita are weeping because they are listening to the sad story of Sita and her second exile. While narrating the story, the mother starts weeping. Looking at her, they all bow their heads in sorrow and they also start weeping. Next question. Describe the hermitage where Sita is living. Answer. In the poem Sita by Narrator, there is a hermitage in the middle of a forest where Valmiki lives. Here, Sita is also living in her second exile. The hermitage is in the middle of a dense forest with clearings around it. It is a very beautiful place. There is a clear water lake there where white swans glide. Sometimes birds like peacock are seen coming out from the forest all of a sudden, and sometimes animals like deer are seen running across the clearing. In the center of it, there is the dwelling of the poet anchorite, that is Valmiki. There is a temple from where blue smokes can be seen rising up. Sita is also seen living there in the hermitage. Next question. What does the poet long for? Answer. The last two lines of the poem Sita by Narrator are suggestive of personal note. In these two lines, She is taken away back to her own childhood when her mother used to tell stories when she, along with her brother Abzu and sister Aru, used to listen to their mother. Now both Abzu and Aru are no more in this world. So she longs to go back to her childhood days when all of them were happy to sit by their mother listening to stories. So, students, we have come to the end of this part of the exercise. Only one part is left. Let me read out the question. Give suitable answers to the following. Question number 1. How does the poem reflect the poet's deep love of nature? Answer. Sita by Terudut is a beautiful poem which reflects the vivid and splendid description of the nature amidst which the hermitage of Valmiki is shown. In the center of a deep forest, there is a clearing, and in that, the poet anchorite, that is Valmiki, dwells. The dwelling of the poet anchorite is often visited by beautiful animals like deer and birds like peacock. There is a lake near the clearing where white swans glide. Around this clearing there are tall trees on which creepers are seen with gigantic flowers blooming. Thus, the place is wonderfully beautiful, and the poet seems to praise its beauty. So, students, we have only one question left in this poem, that is, write a critical summary of the poem Sita. Students, there is a summary given in the book. I'm going to read out that summary and you can add a bit from yourself. That is, you can quote some lines and explain them. Let me read out the summary. Sita is the final ballad published in the Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan. It narrates the popular story of Rama and Sita dealing with her second exile. This poem is an example of nostalgia where Terudut reflects her childhood days when she, along with her sister and brother, would listen to the sad story of Sita. The scene is the hermitage of Valmiki, where Sita is living after her exile. The place is densely covered with gigantic creepers, flowers, and trees. It is difficult for the sunlight to enter the quiet place where white swans glide on a placid lake, rotating their wings. Peacocks dance and deer run amidst yellow grain that can be seen from a distance. Blue smoke rises from the sacred altars near the dwelling of Valmiki, the poet anchorite. In such scene surroundings, the fair lady is weeping, overcome by the misery of living away from her home. Sita represents a picture of loveliness, devotion, chastity, nobility, and of a woman who is ever tolerant and patient. As the mother narrates the sad story of Sita, the three children are so moved that they also start crying. The poet is then brought back to her present state, where she is all alone as her brother and sister are no longer alive. Although the tale is melancholic, she remembers the happy time when all three sat together under the protection of their mother and listened to bedtime stories. The poet becomes nostalgic and longs for those days to come back so that she can relive those moments of happiness spent with her family members. So, students, this is the summary of the poem, and you can add a bit from yourself. It does not matter whether it becomes a long one or remains a shorter one, but it should be complete and substantial. So, that is the end of the poem Sita by Taro Dutt. There are some notes and meanings of difficult words given in the book. Those students who have got their books can read them from the book itself, and for those who have not got, I'm reading for them. So, the notes and meanings of difficult words. Altar, Altar, altar. Altar means a raised place on which offerings are made to God. Amen, Amain. Amen here means violently, Violently, violently. Next is dance, you know it, not easily seen through. Eventide, this is important. Eventide means evening. Eventide spelling Eventide. Eventide meaning evening. Evoked, Evoked. Evoked, call up, bring out. Okay. Gauge, Gaze. Gauge. Gaze means stare, Star, stare, or look fixedly. Okay. Gigantic, you know it. Gigantic means huge or giant. Hushed, made or became silent or quiet. Hushed, made or became silent or quiet. Lay, Lay, lay. Lay here, legend. Okay. Narrative poem or ballad, Ballad, lay. Then lucid. Lucid is clear, Clear, clear or transparent. Then poet anchorite. Poet anchorite here, as I have told you, refers to Valmiki. And the meaning here given is one who lives in seclusion. Seclusion means alone, okay, away from the society. Price, Pris, price, or you can say priest, that is intrude or interfere. Intrude or interfere means to go into, go, into. Okay, warring, I have told you, warring means spinning or rotating. So here these are considered as difficult words. So I think you can understand the meaning. You can refer to the dictionary as well and know the meaning. So students, for today, let us stop here, and we will be starting a new poem or a story in our next class. So thank you so much for being with me in this class. Till the next class, it's bye from me.